Hi, my loves. Welcome back to another video. Today, this message is going to be for a collective of you who are getting ready to do a pretty big release with this next full moon in Aquarius that we're experiencing. So I wanted to put this up a little early, give you some really good time to prep and sit with yourself. We're going to pull some oracle cards at the end of this video so you guys have some journal prompts to do. But I wanted to just get to the root of what you might be holding back from yourself or not admitting to yourself that it might be time to move on from or let go of. So that's what we're getting into today. Let me know if you like this video and how this video felt for you, what you're doing when it found you, and obviously, if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed. It helps me out a lot in being able to continue to make these videos for you. I think that's it. We're just going to jump right in. So I'm going to use my animal tarot cards. You guys have been loving this deck, and it's made me, oh, my crow is here. Okay. It's made me so happy because I hardly used this deck for other people. I used it for myself and for my friends, and I love that you guys are loving it because it's a beautiful deck, and I've been using it so much more now because of that. So let's just jump in. Let's get a few starting cards for this collective and the energy that you can take with them through the full moon in Aquarius. Wow. Oh, this card just was left out, so we're going to pull that as well. Okay, I'm catching a vibe. The Empress. The Seven of Feathers, which is the Seven of Swords. Five of Shells, which is the Five of Cups. I also pulled this for our daily card pull for today, so that's definitely an energy for quite a lot of us at the moment. And we also have the Three of Acorns, which is the Three of Wands. Okay. So the biggest thing that I'm feeling right away is in terms of, I think we need to do some shadow work maybe around how we see things. And what I mean by that is kind of readjusting the ways that we see what feels important to us. I'm having a hard time with words here, but it's kind of like figuring out what makes you feel prepared or like well suited to go through what it is you're needing to go through in order to achieve, progress, attain whatever it is you're wanting to. The Empress is obviously, a very abundant energy, a very beautiful, like feminine, creative energy. And so I do feel like this is like asking you to try to see things through maybe a more abundant lens, a more optimistic, a more glass half full, a more beauty in all things, love in all people kind of lens. Because I think that that's going to make it very clear in terms of like what is going to allow you to okay, sorry, there's a lot of information coming in. Where you're going to be sourcing your energy from moving forward. And I think it's going to be so much easier for you to do that if you're in this kind of more flow state, more graceful, forgiving energy. That does not mean to be walked all over. That does not mean to hold your tongue. That doesn't, I hope that is coming across clearly. That is not the intention here. We're needing to readjust our outlook to a more hopeful, resting energy, a more peaceful, resting vibration. And I think that for some of you, the reason this is coming out kind of jumbled is because I think that the way you're looking forward right now may not even be your most aligned path forward. And what I mean by that is not that what you're seeing for yourself is necessarily wrong, but I do think that there is more. There is more aligned, more authentic, more expansive potential and possibility for you to flow into, move into, once you release what needs to be released through this full moon, and once you can allow yourself to kind of step into this more peaceful, harmonious energy. Okay, what do we need to be releasing? What can we let go? You're letting go. Oh my gosh. Okay, we have the Tower card. I think that the reason this is coming up, I think that the collective watching this is a broad range of you. I think there's going to be quite a few of us that are tapped into this energy. And so I think that the Tower message is coming up for a general releasing energy and revelation. I think I would encourage you to look at areas in your life that feel unstable, that don't feel fortified, that don't feel consistent. Anywhere in your life that you're like, I cannot rely on that, depend on that. I would encourage you to look at ways that you can move forward without that thing, or maybe setting new boundaries around that thing or area of your life, or different expectations. Again, this is a general collective reading. So like this is, you're going to have to use your discernment, and I trust you to do that. Is there a certain area of our life that this is going to be highlighting? This release and rejuvenation also, because we're remembering this isn't just letting it go and okay, fulfillment and celebration. So I think that again, this feels very perspective shift. Like maybe we've been focusing on the negative and sorry, I had to let my husband in. I think, and maybe it's not even focusing on the negative, but maybe we're just looking at things through a lens of less hopeful, less positive, less anything can happen. And it's time for us to really shift our attention to the things that make us feel fulfilled, the things that we feel are worth celebrating in our lives. I do feel as though there's so much to be said around there's just this energy, right, of like what you focus on is what is going to expand. So unless you want to continue to expand on the parts of your life that aren't working or that you're not as satisfied with, can we move on and focus on the things that are working, that do feel like they give you peace and clarity and balance and motivation and like the need to celebrate and the ability to feel fulfilled? Can you shift your focus here to those things? So I don't think this is actually as much about releasing a thing as much as I feel like it's about shifting your mindset, which honestly makes so much sense with this being an Aquarius full moon. It's a very mental energy. And it's very big picture as well. And sometimes the smallest perspective changes can lead to huge shifts. So what else do we want to pull? Let's do some Threads of Fate Oracle messages and just see if the cards have anything else to add for this collective for the full moon. That's a lot. Can we just do like a few? Please. Okay, we can do that. That's quite a few still, but all right, we've got destruction, shadow, oh my gosh, and surrender. That is a crazy combination to have come out. obviously destruction is equivalent to the Tower card in this deck, even though it's Oracle v Tarot. It's very much the same kind of energy. It is allowing things to fall away, to crumble, to fall apart, so that you can rebuild with more authenticity and more clarity. And then the Shadow card is about shadow work and really allowing yourself to dig deep, and digging deep without judgment, digging deep for the genuine sake of like going there with yourself, really seeing what comes through and what feels prominent. And then with the Surrender card, along with like not judging yourself, it's really allowing the universe, your guides, messages that you're seeing to actually guide you and act accordingly, surrendering to the flow instead of trying to make, square pegs fit into round holes. Like, we're just going to surrender our energy and allow ourselves to move forward accordingly. I also am feeling that for some of you, if the surrender energy is standing out, I would encourage you to figure out, kind of similarly to what we were talking about earlier in this reading, I would encourage you to explore what surrender means to you. What would that look like for you to surrender your energy? What would that look like for you? What would that feel like in your body for you? And what is something that we can do every day that kind of puts us into that energy? I hope that makes sense. Lastly, we're going to pull some goddess cards. I think I said I was going to do that earlier and I didn't. We're going to pull some goddess cards and just get any embodiment energy. Oh wait, we did. No. I just pulled today's reading right before this. Like today's daily card pull. So I think that's what I'm thinking of. Oh my gosh. This definitely is bleeding over from today's message. Okay. Bright future. Okay, so for those of you getting freaked out, and receptivity. Yeah. Those of you getting freaked out that this is like a little bit heavy, it's really not. What might feel heavy is if you are not in the practice of being honest with yourself. Then it can feel heavy. What can feel heavy is if you're not being honest with yourself, if you are not admitting to yourself what you really want, what is really important to you, or for some of you, what that will mean if what is that going to take? What is that going to require? What is going to be asked of you to be able to connect to those energies? You also have Hathor receptivity coming up, which is about allowing ourselves to have the things that we want, allowing ourselves to use our intuition and utilize our energy. Also, the Lakshmi Bright Future card is like, we need to stop worrying. So release the overthinking. Allow yourself to tap into a flow state. I feel like this is getting a little repetitive. So the last thing that we're going to do is... Okay, actually, I lied. We're going to pull like 1 or 2 spirit guide messages because I know you guys like this deck as well. And then we're going to pull an oracle message that will have your journal prompts and all of that good stuff. No need to push, instead trust. This is so... I think a lot of you during this full moon, you're going to notice a lot of things, themes, specific energies coming up that are going to make you feel like you need to act, that are going to make you feel like you need to do something about it. And it's important for you to just stay on the course, stay in your energy. You don't need to allow yourself to be so manipulated by external energies. The thought creates the reality. The thought creates the manifestation. So many of us, and I feel like a lot of us in this collective, are allowing our situation to create the thoughts, and then the thoughts create the situation. And so you're going to just see more of what you're focusing on. If you're focusing on what's not working, if you're focusing on what doesn't feel good or whatever, if you're not admitting to yourself what you really want and doing anything in your energetic body to be able to align with that, you're going to continue to feel stuck. You're going to continue to feel out of alignment, and you're going to continue to notice and experience and focus more on what it is that you're not really wanting and what's not really serving you right now. Okay, now we're going to do some oracle cards so I can get you a couple affirmations and some journal prompts, and you will be on your way. Quest. We get this often for the collective, which I think is really interesting because I don't get it very often for individual clients of mine. Oh my gosh, it sounds like my husband is torturing my baby, but I promise he's not. He's just wants me. Okay. Quest card says, so this card is about goals, deep shifts, carving out change, sensory truths, your inner journey, and your desires. All very on theme with what we've been talking about. Your affirmations for this card are, I am ready to follow my bliss, and I always listen to the subtle feelings within. That is the energy we're claiming, okay? Comment something down below so that I know that you're taking this seriously, because this feels a little bit like a tough love, serious message. Like you're really being asked to do things differently here. In this quest, your spectrum from yes to no responses may even manifest as physical sensations in your body. If something doesn't feel good, chances are your compass isn't going to point you toward it. If something fills you up with envy or pressure to perform, chances are you will end up feeling depleted and half full, even if you eventually arrive at your destination. But if your steps are pushing you toward a full feeling of hell yes, and you can sense it as excitement in your belly and laughter in your chest, it may just be the ticket you need. This spark of joy fills the stamina you will require to go after what you desire by harmonizing your truth into the physical reality. Sometimes going deeper into the nuances of our feelings is exactly where we're being guided, whether we know it or not. And this can really be applied to just about anything in your life. Trust your gut, go with yes, follow the joy, be true to your steps. So this feels very much like everything we've been talking about, letting things fall away that are not aligned with that yes. Honoring yourself, honoring your desires enough to act accordingly. You can do this. It's time to show up for yourself. And if you would like to do the journal prompts from this card, they are, what excites me? What brings me joy? What makes me laugh? What makes me truly happy? And then it just has a little note at the bottom here that says you can also change all of the above with who or where in your own words. The other thing that I would encourage you to potentially journal on is, I know earlier we were talking about that surrender energy, and so I would consider journaling around those questions of like what surrendering means to you, what that would feel like in your body. How would you move through life if you surrendered to this idea that like, I just feel like it's hard for me to explain next steps because I know this is going to be so different for so many of you. So I guess you'll just have to let me know. Come find me on Instagram. I'm happy to help. Let me know that you came from this video, and I will give you like another additional insight if you'd like. I feel as though I would love for you to journal around like what that surrender means, what it would look like, but then also like how could you integrate those energies into your day-to-day? That's what I'm meaning to say. So anyway, sorry if this is a little jumbled. This is a very broad collective reading. So again, use your discernment, take what makes sense for you and just leave what doesn't. Let me know which part of this message resonated with you the most. What are you planning to do for the full moon? Are you going to do moon water? Are you going to do a meditation? What's the vibe? And make sure you're subscribed, like this video if you feel so called to, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great full moon.